Good morning. It's a true honor for me to welcome you to the launch of this special learning tool as part of the Language and Culture Fest 2022, organized by the Language Center of the Autonomous University of Hidalgo State. We would like to deeply thank the Embassy of India in Mexico to have selected this event for such a special presentation. We are honored to have with us this morning His Excellency Dr. Pankaj Sharma, Ambassador of India to Mexico, Dr. Smriti Das, Director of the Indian Culture Center in Mexico City, Gurudev Tagore, Dr. Murli Manohar Pathak, Rector of the University of Sanskrit, Maestro Adolfo Pontigo Loyola, Rector of the Autonomous University of Hidalgo State, and eminent faculty of the University of Sanskrit, UNAM, Colmex, and ICCR. Without further ado, let us welcome Gajadati Sarma.
Thank you very much. We will invite Neha Saraf to do the Vandana. Gayatri, her mother is unwell, and she has requested that her colleague Neha will start with the Vandana. And
we'll start with it. Anuji, we can start with the Vandana.
Ji. Over to you, Neha.
Namaste, everyone. I will present Saraswati Vandana. I'm not sure am I audible clearly?
Yes, please start.
Ya kundendu tusharadhavala ya shubhravastravruta ya veena varadandamanditara ya shvetadmasana Ya Brahmachyuta Shankara Prabhutibhe Devai Sada Vandita.
Your video is stopped. তোমাকে ফেরত দিতে হবে ওখানে।
Saraswati Bhagavati.
Your video is stopped. আমি পারি না।
योगेंद्र जी जरा जिस्ट में बोल दीजिए in Spanish what was the shloka meaning about.
Sure, ma'am. Invoco a la diosa sánscrita, a la diosa de conocimiento Saraswati, quien está vestida de color blanco, que tiene collar y quien toca vina, que son sonidos del conocimiento mismo, y quien es rezada por Brahma, Vishnu y Shiva mismo. Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you, sir. Over to you, Edward.
Yeah, let us hear the message for Dr. Pankaj Sharma, Ambassador of India to Mexico, please.
Distinguished Rector Adolfo Pontiago Loyola, Dr. Jose Luis Anton, Dr. Edward Amador Pliego, Dr. Rafael Cravioto Torres, Vice Chancellor Dr. Murli Manohar Pathak, Acharya Parmanand Bharadwaj, Professor of Sanskrit at Lal Bahadur Shastri National Sanskrit University, distinguished scholars of Sanskrit, friends. Let me begin with expressing my congratulations and compliments to the organizers for holding this international festival online. This language festival, initiated by the university's International Language Department, provides a great platform to discuss the languages of the world, and India is proud to be participating as the guest of honor at this 4-day event. With 22 scheduled languages mentioned in the Constitution, 121 mother tongues, and more than 19,500 dialects, India has always been a land of multilingualism. I'm very pleased to address this virtual program today, organized by the Gurudev Tagore Indian Cultural Center and the Embassy of India to launch the world's first interactive gamified Sanskrit learning app, Little Guru, in Mexico. We are very honored that we have two very distinguished scholars from India, the Vice Chancellor, Dr. Pathak, and Acharya Parmanand Bharadwaj, in addition to the rector himself. Friends, Noam Chomsky had once said, our language is not just words. It's a culture, a tradition, a unification of a community, a whole history that creates what a community is. It's all embodied in a language. Sanskrit, one of the oldest languages of the world, is the language of ancient Indian literary treasures, like the Vedas and Upanishads, and to a large extent symbolizes an important aspect of India's cultural heritage and tradition. Sanskrit is the soul and spirit of India and all Indian languages, as well as several languages across the world. It is indeed one of the greatest treasures bequeathed to the world by India. Dr. David Frawley, a distinguished Sanskrit scholar and recipient of the Padma Bhushan Award by the Government of India, has observed that Sanskrit has been the most influential language in world history, guiding India and Asia for centuries across countries. Most notably, Sanskrit has been the language of higher consciousness with its secrets yet to be fathomed. Friends, the app Little Guru has been developed by Game App Sportswiz Technologies in collaboration with the Indian Council for Cultural Relations. This app uses gaming techniques, AI, and advanced user interface to ensure that learning Sanskrit is easy and fun. I would like to congratulate Mr. Anuj Sharma, CEO of Little Guru, for developing this app. One of the most striking characteristics of Sanskrit is that its grammatical structure is highly evolved. It is considered as the most perfectly programmable computer language. In fact, in some recent years, Sanskrit is no stranger. It has been used by a number of technologists, including in Silicon Valley and all over the world. Sanskrit is no stranger in Mexico. I am pleased to learn that Sanskrit is being taught at several Mexican universities. A number of them have also obtained PhD degrees in Sanskrit. Dr. Wendy Phillips, who is amongst us today, is one such fine example. The Embassy and our Cultural Center will be glad to provide all necessary support to teaching and learning of Sanskrit, including scholarships through the Indian Council for Cultural Relations. I'm sure that the Little Guru app will prove quite helpful and effective in imparting Sanskrit education and generating interest towards this ancient scientific language, especially among tech-savvy youngsters. I would like to thank and commend the director of Gurudev Tagore Indian Cultural Center, Dr. Srimati Das, for organizing this program to launch the Little Guru app in Mexico. I do hope that all of us present here will spread the message about this unique modern day app that promises to teach us one of the most ancient languages of the world. I thank all of you for your presence today.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. Let us hear the message from the Dr. Srimati Das, Director of the Indian Cultural Center in Mexico City, Gurudev Tagore. Please.
Buenos dias, Mexico, Belize. Good evening, India. Namaskar. Ambassador of India to Mexico, Dr. Pankaj Sharma, Rector Adolfo Pontiago Loyola, Dr. Jose Luis Anton de la Concha, Director of the Language Center, Eduardo Amador Pliego, Vice Chancellor of Lal Bahadur Shastri National Sanskrit University, New Delhi, India, Dr. Murli Manohar Pathak, Acharya Parmanand Bharadwaj, Professor of Sanskrit at Lal Bahadur Shastri National Sanskrit University, New Delhi, India, Anuj Sharma, CEO of Little Guru app, Professor Wendy Phillips, Professor Yogendra Sharma from UNAM, Mexico, and all the dignitaries of UAEH and the students who have logged in today. As India celebrates India at 75 and Akam, it is a great honor for me to be at this forum today sharing the screen with all dignitaries to initiate this landmark event where Embassy of India, Gurudev Tagore Indian Cultural Center, Mexico City, are launching the most awaited app to learn Sanskrit through the medium of Spanish, which is a first of its kind in the world. We are privileged. This platform of International Language Festival being conducted by Universidad Autónomas del Hidalgo, Pachuca, Mexico, where India is the guest of honor, having participated in the last 4 days with cultural presentation, yoga workshop, talk delivered on culture and traditions of India, we could not have asked for a better occasion than this to launch this app. Thank you, UAEH. The Little Guru app, initiated with the collaboration of Indian Council for Cultural Relations, ICCR, with the Little Guru app developers way back in March 2021, when we got started with a directive from ICCR to launch this app in our respective country of accreditation. Since then, we have not looked back. We went ahead, brainstormed, and took the possibility of this new age Spanish Sanskrit gaming app ahead, and it is Anu Sharma and his team who have really made it happen with the translation inputs extended by Professor Wendy and Dr. Yogendra Sharma from Mexico. It is a wonderful collaboration between Seychelles, India, and Mexico. As a professor of multiculturalism and English language myself, I have always felt that learning multiple languages creates global cultural integration by sharing of knowledge and ideas. For this to happen, knowing Sanskrit can be highly beneficial since many European languages and even English contains words from Sanskrit. Like brata in Sanskrit is frater, brother is frater in English. Pitra is father in Sanskrit, pater is in English, from where we get modern day English word father. Umpteen examples can be cited. Embassy of India, Gurudev Tagore Indian Cultural Center, Mexico City, is sincerely committed to popularize Sanskrit in Mexico in Spanish, and we shall do our best with ICCR Little Guru app as our partner. As an international language, we foresee Sanskrit forging ahead in Mexico with UAEH as our launchpad. We have the ambassador, Dr. Pankaj Sharma, the rector of UAEH, Adolfo Pontiago Loyola, and the scholars and maestros of Sanskrit from India and Mexico today to talk on the importance of learning Sanskrit as an international language. I leave the floor to them. Thanking once again the Embassy of India and the university functionaries for giving us these festivals and for launching this app to the Spanish-speaking world. Gracias, namaskar.
Namaskar, Dr. Das. Let us hear the message from Dr. Murli Manohar Pathak, Rector of the University of Sanskrit.
Am I audible, sir? Am I audible?
Yes, yes, sir. Namaskar, Murli Manohar Pathak ji. Namaskar.
हमें हिंदी में बोलना है, अंग्रेजी में बोलना है, संस्कृत में बोलना है.
आप संस्कृत और हिंदी में बोलिए. We have got our Spanish, Sanskrit, Hindi teacher of GTICC, UNAM and Colmex to do the translation.
Okay, that's good. That's good. That's
whichever
good.
language you are
then I will speak.
with.
Then I will speak in Sanskrit only.
Ji sir, ji sir.
Okay. All right. Thank you. Thank you for giving me privilege of my own language.
Thank you, sir.
Ajnanatimirandhasya jnananjanashalakaya chakshurunmilitam yena tasmai shri gurave namah. Mexico City द्वारेण तत्रत्यानां छात्राणां कृते संस्कृत शिक्षणस्य एकस्य विशिष्टस्य आधुनिक संगणक एप्लिकेशन् इत्यस्य उद्घाटनावसरे तस्य उद्घाटक रूपेण समुपस्थिताः तत्रत्याः भारतीय राजदूताः श्री पंकज शर्मा महाभागाः, तत्रस्थ गुरुदेव टैगोर भारतीय सांस्कृतिक केंद्रस्य निदेशक रूपेण निदेशिका रूपेण वर्तमानाः डॉक्टर श्रीमती दास महाभागाः, तत्रस्था अत्यंतं विदुषी वेंडी फिलिप्स महाभागाः, अस्माकं विश्वविद्यालयस्य प्रतिभागिनः आचार्याः परमानंद शर्मा महाभागाः, तत्रत्या एव गायत्री शर्मा महाभागाः, बीके गुहरे महाभागाः, शशांक शर्मा महाभागाः, एतस्य आधुनिक संगणक एप्लीकेशन इत्यस्य एप संज्ञकस्य मुख्य कार्यकारी अधिकारिणः अनुज शर्मा महाभागाः, एवमेव तत्र स्थिताः योगेंद्र शर्मा महाभागाः, अन्ये च श्रोतारः ये खलु अस्मिन् कार्यक्रमे समुपस्थिताः सन्ति। मान्याः, सर्वप्रथमम् एतस्मिन् पावनावसरे सर्वानेव भवतः स्वकीयाम् आशिषं स्वकीयानि शुभाशीर्वचांसि स्वकीयानि धन्यवादवचांसि च अहं प्रेषयामि, यतो हि संस्कृतस्य तत्र ज्ञानं भविष्यति। छात्राणां कृते प्रारम्भतः मैट्रिकुलेशन हाई स्कूल इति पर्यन्तं छात्राः संस्कृत विद्यां संस्कृत भाषां शिक्षन्ति, तस्य ज्ञानं प्राप्स्यन्ति। एतत् कृते अयम् उपक्रमः यः भवद्भिः स्वीकृतः सः उपक्रमः धन्यवादार्हः प्रशंसार्हः च वर्तते। वस्तुतः मान्याः, संस्कृतं न केवलं काचन भाषा अपि तु संस्कृतं खलु एका विद्या वर्तते। संस्कृते केवलं साहित्यं नास्ति, संस्कृते बहवः विषयाः सन्ति ये आधुनिकाः अपि सन्ति पाश्चात्याः अपि सन्ति। वस्तुतः संस्कृतस्य समारम्भः वेदेन जायते। वेदः खलु विश्वस्य प्राचीनतमं साहित्यं विश्ववाङ्मयस्य। तस्मात् प्राचीनं किमपि साहित्यं किमपि वाङ्मयम् अस्माकं पुरतो नैव अस्ति। अतः संस्कृते केवलं भाषा न शिक्ष्यते, अपि तु संस्कृत माध्यमेन आचारस्य शिक्षा दीयते, जीवनस्य शिक्षा दीयते। तत्र केवलं भौतिक विषयाणामेव ज्ञानं नास्ति, अपि तु आध्यात्मिक विषयाणामपि ज्ञानं वर्तते। यतो हि संसारे जगत्यस्मिन् केवलं भौतिक ज्ञानेनैव अस्माकं समृद्धिः कथमपि भवितुं नार्हति। यदा अस्माभिः आध्यात्मिकी उन्नतिः भविष्यति, आध्यात्मिकी उन्नतिः इति कथने स्पिरिचुअल नॉलेज, तत्र स्पिरिचुअल नॉलेज आध्यात्मिकं ज्ञानम् अपि केवलं संस्कृते एव वर्तते। अतः ये छात्राः ये विद्यार्थिनः संस्कृत भाषां ज्ञास्यन्ति ते तत्र निहितम् आध्यात्मिकं ज्ञानम् अपि ज्ञातुं प्रभविष्यन्ति इति अस्य कृते तैः सर्वैः संस्कृत भाषायाः अध्ययनम् आवश्यकं वर्तते। संस्कृतम् अत्यन्तं सरला भाषा वर्तते। मन्ये ऑल इंडियन यूरोपियन लैंग्वेजेस की मातृरूपेण, दिस इज द मदर ऑफ ऑल इंडो यूरोपियन लैंग्वेजेस इंक्लूडिंग इंडियन लैंग्वेजेस टू। अतः संस्कृते ये शब्दाः सन्ति ते शब्दाः अन्यत्र बहुषु भाषासु प्रयुज्यन्ते, किन्तु जनाः न जानन्ति यत् अस्य शब्दस्य उद्गमः संस्कृतेन जातः। एतत् कृते ये छात्राः संस्कृतस्य ज्ञानं प्राप्स्यन्ति, संस्कृतस्य शिक्षां ग्रहीष्यन्ति, ते सर्वे अभिज्ञाः भूत्वा ज्ञानवन्तः भूत्वा संस्कृतस्य ज्ञानं प्राप्स्यन्ति। न केवलं संस्कृतस्य ज्ञानं प्राप्स्यन्ति अपि तु संस्कृताचरणं करिष्यन्ति। संस्कृताचरणेन न केवलं भौतिकं स्वरूपं शुद्धं भवति, अपि तु आन्तरिकं यत् अस्माकं स्वरूपं वर्तते, इंटरनल ब्यूटी, तदपि स्फुटं भविष्यति, तदपि प्रकाशम् एष्यति इति कृत्वापि इत्यर्थमपि संस्कृतस्य ज्ञानं सर्वैः आवश्यकं। न केवलं भारतीयैः एव अपि तु विश्वस्य ये केऽपि जनाः संस्कृताः भवितुम् इच्छन्ति, ये केऽपि जनाः शास्त्रदीक्षिताः भवितुम् इच्छन्ति, तत्र संस्कृते संस्कृतज्ञानेन संस्कृते निहितं यत् विज्ञानं वर्तते, यत् भूगोलविद्या वर्तते, यत् अभियांत्रिकी विद्या वर्तते, यत् तत्र प्रौद्योगिकी विद्या वर्तते, तासां सर्वासां विषयाणां भाषाणां विज्ञानानां ज्ञानानां ज्ञानं संस्कृत माध्यमेनैव भवितुमर्हति। यतो हि अनुवाद रूपेण यदि किंचित् वयं पठामः, अनुवादस्तु अनुवादेव भवति, तत्र ट्रांसलेशन भवति, ट्रांसलिटरेशन वा भवति, किन्तु यदि साक्षात् संस्कृतस्य ज्ञानं भविष्यति तर्हि तत्र शास्त्रे प्रविश्य शास्त्रज्ञानं प्राप्य स्वयमपि तस्य ते विकासं कर्तुं शक्नुवन्तु, आत्मनः ज्ञानम् अपि वर्धयितुं शक्ष्यन्ति इति धिया अहम् अत्र अधिकं नोक्त्वा केवलम् अत्र स्थितेभ्यो सर्वेभ्योऽपि भवद्भ्यः सर्वाभ्यश्च भवतेभ्यः भूयो भूयो धन्यवाद वचांसि व्याहरामि, वर्धापयामि। एतत् कृते यः खलु प्रकल्पः भवद्भिः आचरितः तस्य कृतेपि पुनरपि धन्यवादान् वितीर्य एम्बेसडर महोदयाय, राजदूत महोदयाय स्वकीयं प्रमाणाञ्जलिं विनिवेद्य विरमामि इति शम्।
Thank you very much. Let us hear the message from Master Adolfo Pontigo Loyola, Rector of the Autonomous University of Hidalgo State. Please.
Disculpe, ¿puedo nada más dar un resumen de lo que dijo el rector? Porque la doctora me había pedido.
Ok, sí, adelante.
Nada más. Y es un reto traducir sin tener el texto, entonces sí quiero aceptar ese reto. Invoco al gurú quien nos lleva de la ignorancia al conocimiento y ofrezco mi gratitud hacia todas las autoridades, mis mejores deseos, agradecimientos y admiración, porque idioma sánscrito no es solamente idioma para hablar, sino también es como un viaje a tu interior. Los Vedas, que son considerados entre los textos más antiguos del mundo, están escritos en sánscrito. Y sánscrito no solo nos enseña, no solo nos da conocimiento acerca de la materia, sino también nos da un conocimiento espiritual. No solo habla de lo que está afuera, sino también lo que está adentro. Es madre de muchísimos idiomas modernos europeos e indios y nos deja ver la belleza interna y no solamente la belleza lo que está afuera. Los alumnos que aprenden sánscrito van a un viaje espiritual y la traducción, claro, nos puede ayudar muchísimo, pero invito a muchísima gente, a todos los alumnos, para que aprendan sánscrito directamente de sánscrito, porque eso les va a ayudar muchísimo. Muchas gracias.
Muchas gracias, Maestro Adolfo, por favor, please.
Muchas gracias. ¿Me escuchan ahí bien?
Sí, todo bien.
Muchas gracias, pues aprecio enormemente la convocatoria a este lanzamiento nacional y mundial de esta aplicación Little Guru. Y debo reconocer el excelentísimo trabajo que realiza la Embajada de India. Desde aquí le envío mi reconocimiento y mi cariño al doctor Sharma, señor embajador de la India en México, y a quien nos ha convocado, siempre pendiente de cuestiones de cultura, a la doctora Srimiti Das. Gracias por la invitación, a mis compañeros pares, rectores de las diversas universidades que nos acompañan, en general a todos quienes hoy se han conectado para este lanzamiento. Muchísimas gracias por la oportunidad de participación de esta que es la Universidad Autónoma del Estado de Hidalgo, que tengo en suerte representar. La historia y el conocimiento del mundo se encuentran inscritos en lenguaje. El largo trayecto de la humanidad se relata en cada palabra y en cada idioma. Por eso, el aprendizaje de otras lenguas abre las puertas hacia la infinita amplitud del saber y nos coloca al frente y al tiempo del relato de las culturas. La ocasión que nos reúne es particularmente valiosa en este aspecto. El acercamiento a una lengua tan antigua significa también el dominio de las raíces del conocimiento. Representa además una exhortación hacia los rudimentos del lenguaje y de la cultura. La propuesta de innovación que rodea este instrumento de enseñanza y aprendizaje es en verdad un esfuerzo notable por facilitar el conocimiento de una lengua perteneciente a un pretérito cada vez más desconocido en el mundo moderno. El sánscrito es un espejo de la humanidad. Reconozco a quienes diseñaron esta aplicación y el apoyo por parte del Consejo de la India para Relaciones Culturales, porque presentan una herramienta invaluable para estudiantes y maestros. En la Universidad Autónoma del Estado de Hidalgo nos sentimos complacidos y celebramos la creación de materiales e instrumentos que fortalezcan la educación. Reitero mi gratitud a todas las personas involucradas en mantener el estrecho vínculo con nuestra querida nación de la India y su magnífico ímpetu académico, porque en ellos, sin duda, nuestra Casa de Estudios enaltece su compromiso con el diálogo y la cooperación internacional. No me basta más que invitar a la gente a que se acerquen a esta aplicación y aprovechen la excelente oportunidad de adentrarse en el sánscrito y conocer su complejidad y sus profundidades. Enhorabuena, un saludo afectuoso. Muchas gracias.
Gracias, maestro.
Thank you for inviting me here to this launching. I truly recognize the excellent work that the Embassy of India in Mexico and its ambassador, Dr. Pankaj Sharma, are doing. Thank you, Dr. Das, again for the invitation, the leader of the Cultural Center of the Cultural Center Gurudev Tagore. Thank you to my peers, rectors, for being here, and thank you everyone for having joined this session. The history of the world is written in a language, and in each word and in each idiom. Learning languages opens doors to other cultures. Today, being closer to this ancient language and to the roots means to get closer to the roots of knowledge, language, and culture. I truly recognize the effort for facilitating the knowledge of Sanskrit. Sanskrit, it's like a mirror to humanity. I recognize that today you are presenting this very wordless tool to our students and teachers. We, the university, celebrate the creation of every tool that strengthened education. Thank you to India and to their commitment for international cooperation. I invite you all to know this Little Guru app and to know Sanskrit. Thank you all for being here.
Thank you very much. And let us enjoy the launch and presentation of the Little Guru app by Dr. Parmananda and Dr. Anush Sharma, please.
Okay, I will start.
परमानंद जी को 1-2 मिनट बात करने दीजिए, then you can start it.
Pleasure.
जी, thank you so much.
श्रेष्ठौ आसर्गरूपा जगतवनविदौ पालनीयाचरौद्री संहारे चापि यस्या जगदिदमखिलं क्रीडनं या पराख्या पश्यन्ति मध्यमाथो तदनु भगवती वैखरी वर्णरूपा सास्मद्वाचं प्रसन्नः विधिहरिगिरिशा रादितः अलङ्करोतु। सर्वेभ्यो नमो नमः। परमादरणीयः मेक्सिको देशे भारतस्य राजनयिकः भारतीय दूतावासस्य प्रमुखाः श्रीमान डॉक्टर पंकज शर्मा महोदयः, अस्य कार्यक्रमस्य संयोजकः डॉक्टर श्रीमती दास महोदयः, भारत देशस्य राजधान्यां स्थित श्री लाल बहादुर शास्त्री नेशनल संस्कृत विश्वविद्यालयस्य अस्माकं कुलपतिवर्यः प्रोफेसर मुरली मनोहर पाठक महाभागाः अस्मिन् कार्यक्रमे अंतर्जाल माध्यमेन उपस्थिताः विद्वांसः संस्कृतभाषाः जिज्ञासु सुधीजनः। महत् प्रमोदस्य विषयोऽयं वर्तते यत् अद्य मेक्सिको देशे संस्कृतभाषाः लिटल गुरुनाम सह इत्यस्य उद्घाटनमस्ति। संस्कृतभाषायाः प्रचाराय प्रसाराय च उत्तम प्रयासो अस्ति। वस्तुतः भारतस्य विश्वस्य प्रतिष्ठे द्वे वर्तते, तत्र संस्कृतं संस्कृतिस्ततः। संपूर्ण विश्वे यदि भारतस्य स्थानमस्ति तर्हि तस्य प्रतिष्ठा संस्कृत विषये वर्तते। तस्य एकं कारणं विद्यते, तद् कारणमस्ति संस्कृत भाषा। संस्कृत भारतस्य विश्वस्यपि आत्मा भाषासु प्राचीनतमा अस्ति। अद्य अहं गौरवम् अनुभवामि यत् एतादृश अस्माकं भारतीयाः भारतं विश्व गुरुकरणार्थं यत् एतादृश अस्माकं प्रयासः अस्माकं भारतीयाः प्रयासः यत्र कुर्वन्तः सन्ति इदं कार्यम् ईश्वरीय कार्यं वर्तते। एतदर्थ अहं भवद्भ्यः सर्वेभ्यः अनंत शुभकामना साधुवादान् ददामि। किंचित हिंदी भाषायां वक्तुकामोऽस्मि। वस्तुतः मित्रों, जैसे मेरे कुलपति महोदय ने कहा, संस्कृत जीवन है और संस्कृत केवल मात्र भाषा नहीं है, ये संस्कार है, ये वेदों की देवों की भाषा है। समस्त वैदिक वाङ्मय संस्कृत में है और संस्कृत के माध्यम से ही मानव के संस्कार किए जाते हैं। गर्भाधान से लेकर के मृत्यु पर्यंत भारतीय संस्कृति में 16 संस्कारों का जो वर्णन मिलता है, उन सब का जो करने का विधान है वो संस्कृत भाषा में वेद के द्वारा किया जाता है। तो जितने भी हमारा लौकिक पारलौकिक जो हमारा क्रिया है, कार्य है, वो सब संस्कृत में हुआ करता है। इसलिए संस्कृत इस भारत की तो आत्मा है ही, लेकिन पूरे विश्व की ये आत्मा है। अतः संस्कृत को केवल भाषा ना मान करके संस्कृत को अध्यात्म के तौर में भी हमें जीवन में उतारना है, क्योंकि तभी आत्मा और परमात्मा का जो संबंध हुआ करता है, शरीर और आत्मा का जो संबंध हुआ करता है, वो संस्कृत का इस मानव जीवन के साथ संबंध है। अतः संस्कृत को हमें अपने जीवन में उतारने के लिए भारतीय दूतावास मेक्सिको द्वारा या माननीय श्रीमती डॉक्टर दास जी द्वारा तथा इनके अन्य सहयोगियों द्वारा जो ये प्रयास किया जा रहा है, इसके लिए मैं सबको बहुत बहुत बधाई देता हूं और आप सबको प्रणाम नमस्कार करके आपसे विदा लेता हूं। नमस्कार। जयतु संस्कृतम, जयतु भारतम।
Entonces, voy a dar nada más un pequeño resumen de lo que habló Acharya-ji. Invocó a la diosa y al dios y dice, ¿dónde hay sánscrito? Hay sánskriti, o sea que es como sinónimo de la cultura. Es el alma de la India, es un idioma desde la antigüedad, los mejores deseos. Y sánscrito no solamente es un idioma, sino es tradición, es rituales que son todos los rituales principales desde el nacimiento hasta la muerte de un ser humano. Sánscrito está presente en todos los rituales. No es solo idioma para la comunicación, sino también es un puente entre el alma individual y alma cósmica. Gracias.
Anuji, your presentation.
For everyone, buenos días, ¿cómo estás? Sarvebhya, namo namaha. It's such a pleasure to be here today to present Little Guru app to all of you. Before that, I must welcome and thank everyone, Dr. Pankaj Sharma, Ambassador of India to Mexico, Rector Adolfo Loyola, Mr. Eduardo Amador Pliego, Dr. Srimati Das, who's the cultural warrior for India in Mexico, and of course, Dr. Murli Manohar Pathak and Dr. Acharya Paramnanda, who's really graced the occasion. And also many thanks to Dr. Wendy and Yogendra Sharma, whom we call the Spanish Sanskrit warriors in Mexico, and all our friends who are present here. So thank you very much for being here. I'll start with a very simple Sanskrit shloka related to learning. So it says, Acharyat padam paditate padam shishyah swamedeya sa brahmacharabhyah padam padam kal kramena chah. What does it mean that we learn 1/4 from our teacher? We learn 1/4 from our own intelligence. We learn 1/4 from our classmates, and we learn 1/4 only with time. So I'm going to change it slightly and say Acharyat padam padate padam shishya swamedya sa brahmacharibhyah padam padam little guru apenicha. So little guru app has become another source for learning Sanskrit for us, along with our teachers, along with our own intelligence, and with passage of time. So with this, let me just allow me to share the screen, and I can do a presentation and a show to you on what Little Guru app has to offer to us. Please do let me if my screen is visible. Is my screen visible, Dr. Das?
Yes.
It says Jagatah Sarva Prathamam, world's first gamified Sanskrit app that we have brought in for all our students across the world. And today we are here to, of course, present the Spanish Sanskrit app. But before that, let's have a small video, which shows us how Little Guru, our character, introduces Little Guru app to us.
Namaskaraha. Mam Nam Little Guru. I spoke in Sanskrit, but I'm sure it wasn't too hard to understand. The Sanskrit language is part of a rich Indian culture, a language that is 5,000 years old. Ever thought of learning Sanskrit, but didn't do so as learning a new language could be quite cumbersome and boring, considering traditional methods of learning? Forget about these books here. You don't have to read them to learn Sanskrit. Well, I'm here to replace the usual language learning style with one that is more fun and easier. Taking the edutainment route via gamification, learning the Sanskrit language is now engaging and motivating. It not only helps develop language skills faster, but also boosts your retention ability. Every milestone you reach awaits rewards for you. Enjoy and enhance your learning experience by interacting with the Sanskrit community across the globe. Get a customized learning path. I'll guide you across various levels. How is all of this possible? The world's first gamified Sanskrit learning app is ready for you. Download and subscribe to the Little Guru app today.
Okay, so that was the video. And now we have a very interesting start here. So here is a QR code now. So all we have to do is we have our cameras. So we can point our camera on our mobile phone to this QR code. And you would see that the app website will open on your device. And our team has put up a special offer. They say that, all right, so people who are present here and on Facebook, and as they are recording the QR code, the team would actually select one of the people who've done that, and they'll get a free subscription for Little Guru for the whole year. So please take a few seconds. Just keep your camera in front of the QR code and start using Little Guru app. Also, my colleagues in the chat would share this. So even when we go along with the presentation, please use the chat, which is along with the Zoom and on Facebook, to scan the code and start feeling the Little Guru app, while we are presenting it. Okay, so let's talk a little bit about, where has the demand for Sanskrit learning come from in the modern world? We always know about the traditional world and the students, but do we see that there is some increase in demand for Sanskrit learning? So we see more and more Indians and non-resident Indians are keen to learn about their civilization heritage, also for their children. I feel that my kids, I stay overseas, my kids must learn Sanskrit, to learn about India's civilization and heritage. People want to read Vedas, Bhagavad Gita, Ramayana in original. We get the translations, but everybody wants to see what is it, the original, if I can understand it myself. There are people all across the world, in Mexico, everywhere, who want to associate with the world's oldest civilization, which is India. And very interestingly, the new generation, Gen Y and Gen Z, want to understand usage of Sanskrit in science and computers. As Dr. Pankaj Sharma had said, that Sanskrit and technology go together. And the new generation is always looking at opportunities, where they can learn something new. And Sanskrit has the opportunity with its structure to even use it for coding as we go along, and also various applications in sciences. So has this demand being met? There is a lot of demand for Sanskrit. Has it been met? So when we analyze, we realize that less than 2 million people can speak Sanskrit at some level. That is at some level, not very fluently. That is much, much less. So if you just look at India's population, that's less than 0.2%. And we look at across the world, it's very, very less. However, the research shows that at least 50 to 100 million people are keen to learn Sanskrit. Many of them don't know, especially who are overseas, how to go about learning Sanskrit. Of course, people who formally enroll in colleges and universities, they know it, but a lot of people otherwise who are not in formal colleges and universities, they don't know how to go about learning. And they don't find some of the current methods engaging because they are used to a different kind of teaching now, learning now, especially with digital devices coming in. So interestingly, there is a strong connection between Sanskrit and technology, but technology has shied away from Sanskrit till now. Google does not have a proper Sanskrit translator. You won't get the right translations. If you look for other languages, you'll get it. There's no proper, I would say, there are dictionaries, there are Amrit Koshas, but not a comprehensive Sanskrit online dictionary. And there is no personalized AI technology-driven app to learn Sanskrit before this. In fact, even apps like Duolingo, Professor Rutger Cottonhorst, who is also Padma Shri awardee this year for his contribution to Sanskrit from Ireland, told us they actually approached Duolingo a few years back and say, do Sanskrit, and they refuse, and they say, Little Guru has done it. So we feel that there is great demand, but it's not been met till now. So that's where Little Guru steps in. So who is Little Guru? What is Little Guru? So Little Guru is our friend. Little Guru is our guide, a teacher. Little Guru is definitely our own inner self. So all of us have Little Guru in us, so that we discover that when we actually learn Sanskrit. So what does Little Guru do to us when we are studying Sanskrit or just being friends with him? So he gives us a path to learn. You can choose our own path. He plays with us and makes learning fun. And he motivates us when we are a little tired and skeptical of learning. Come on, get up, let's keep going. He challenges us when we think you already know a lot. Let's have a test and let's see how much do you know and how much more you have to learn. And he rewards us when we perform extraordinary tasks and really when we've completed certain tasks and shown some exceptional performances. So this is what Little Guru does. It's not just an app. So Little Guru is embodied by all of us and it is actually a character which helps us go through the Sanskrit learning path. So why do we need a gamified app to learn Sanskrit? I will quickly mention a few reasons. Most of us know that gamification increases attention span. In these days, especially when attention spans are short, people get engaged with the games. We also know that to teach first, we have to engage. If we lose people, the students, while communicating, we can't teach them. And also Krida as a game has always been an ingredient of learning. Even from Gurukul days, sport and Krida was always, game was a part of learning. And why not now? And then as some wise person said, let there be no restriction and every possible method we use to promote and teach what is good and noble. And I also remember the lady in the presentation a little while before also mentioned that any app, any technique which is good to teach people should be used. And hence, why not a gamified app? Of course, we know that it helps in community learning. A student in India can challenge a student in Mexico and say, okay, come on, let's see which chapters have you completed and let's do it together. We use machine learning technology to personalize the content. When we see the pace at which the student can learn, it can get adjusted based on by using machine learning and the performance in the initial stages. Very friendly to use with the UI, and learn at our convenience. Anytime when we are waiting, my daughter tells me that she has a filler between, when she's bored of her other studies, she just 5 minutes of Little Guru, and she learns a few words on that. So at any time, at our convenience, we can learn. So Little Guru shows us a path to learn Sanskrit. We set our goals, that what do we really want to achieve through Sanskrit? Do we want to learn what our heritage? Do we want to speak the language? Do we want to be able to understand Bhagavad Gita? So what really is our goal? And based on that, the journey is planned, and different lessons are planned in Sanskrit, in Little Guru. And now we will, these are some of the analytics that we have. So I will actually take over to the presentation where we show it on the website. But before that, we can say that Suras, Subodha, Vishwamanogya, Lalita, Ridya, Ramaniya, Amrit Vani, Sanskrit Bhasha, Naiva Kalishta, Nacha Katina. The Sanskrit language is lovely, easy to understand, universally agreeable to the mind. It's elegant, beloved, enjoyable, and the sweet speech of Sanskrit language. It's neither complicated nor difficult to understand. So please allow me to move to the website to quickly show you a few features of the app. So is my screen visible?
Yes, Anuji, it is visible.
Okay. Thank you. So here is our Little Guru website. It's available in Android, iOS, all versions. We can also play it on the web. So we can see that we've created a very nice, we're having a calligraphy contest where you can write your own name in Sanskrit. And we realize it's so beautiful to write your own name in Sanskrit. And for the winners, we will actually put it in an NFT. We create your name in NFT and give it back to you. So we keep running these contests, and we try and put together, the combination of a modern way to present the language, at the same time keeping the tradition alive. So we try to bring this combination together. And now we will show, I must say that there is a special comment that Professor Rajat Cottonhorse has to say about, Little Guru. He says that it's heralding Sanskrit into the 21st century. It's such an enjoyable and almost addictive way of learning, just what the doctor ordered. Once you start a lesson, you cannot put it down. The graded levels of learning gives everyone a chance to fit in where they feel comfortable. The instant gratification to know that you're on the right track and that you get your reward soon makes for perfect differentiated learning, not slowing down a fast learner or making slow learners feel like blockheads. My 10 to 12-year-old students in Dublin, Ireland will never look back after this. They already thought of that Sanskrit rocks. Now they know for certain. So it's amazing. This is the beauty of the current generation, that we have to bring in the traditions of this language. At the same time, we have to make it cool for them. That's the way to bring new generation into the fold of the Sanskrit language. And now once they come into the fold of the language, after that, like Acharya ji said, that it's a way of life. But that comes after. There are a few million of us who already have that. But what about hundreds of millions who are not even touching Sanskrit? We have to make it cool to bring them into the fold of Sanskrit. They start loving it, and then slowly they adopt that to a way of life. Okay, so here this is where we would like to start. And as Dr. Das said, if Dr. Dinesh Sharma actually keeps the app open, taking his permission to start the app open, I can actually click on this button to say Spanish, so that we can actually have the Spanish to Sanskrit app open. So Dr. Dinesh Sharma, with your permission, I'll start it. So we launch the Spanish version of the Little Guru app. Right. Okay.
Anuji, we can invite Dr. Pankaj Sharma, the ambassador of India to Mexico. Just tell a sentence. I declared the Spanish app open.
Yes, please. Dr. Sharma.
Anuji, thank you very much. And it is my great honor now to declare the Spanish app open.
Thank you so much, Dr.
Thank you, sir.
All right. Okay, so I will just take a few minutes to show you a few features. Of course, as I said, my colleagues have put in the QR codes and the links in the chat. Please make use of that. But at the same time, let me show you a few features, that show the richness of the app. So let's go to the learning.
It's gone again. Nice.
Okay, so they have different levels. So let's choose the level 1. Okay, so we can just choose a chapter related to consonants. So people who also don't know Devanagari, this is the first level. This also helps people who have to understand how to write the Devanagari script, which is the Indian script based on which Sanskrit and many other languages are written. So here, that is the first for absolute beginners. So here is a letter G. So the GIF shows you how to write it. There is a transliteration of that. G. So there is and then there is an example of that. And then we have the meaning in English, Roman transliteration, and in Spanish. Gachaha. So, okay, we can move next. So let's see. The character being formed. So that is character Ma. Mayura. Right. So this is very interesting for especially worldwide, people who don't know Devanagari script. So first we actually teach that before we go into further learning. Okay, so I'll just quickly move out and try and see some other level that we can open and see some other formats. So we have here over 20 to 25 very interesting formats. You have multiple choice questions, pictures, drag and drop, audio, videos, all kinds of gamified content which comes in here. And we also have some Bhagavad Gita chanting. So let's see. So maybe we can listen to, if you're just in a mood to listen to some Bhagavad Gita chanting, we can listen in the app.
Yada yada hi dharmasya glanirбhavati bharata abhyuthanam adharmasya tadatmanam srijamyaham.
Okay, let's listen to another one.
There is no audio to this, Anuj.
Yes. Can we hear the audio?
Niyatam kuru karmatvam karmajyayohya karmanaha sharira yatra pichatena prasidhyeda karmanaha.
Right. So these are beautiful shlokas, and we also have chapters on other shlokas as well. And the next we are introducing a version which is for Bhagavad Gita learners, where they can actually understand the meaning of this, and then in a real life context, how does it translate for you? So that is coming on in the next version. So then we can look at some of the other formats. Let's say something related to images. So people can learn the words through images from their language. Then after that, so we have to also show words in the current context. While Sanskrit language traditionally has, as they say, over tens of millions of words, but it has to keep evolving like any other language. So we have to understand what is internet, for example, it's Antarjalam, and similarly, what is mobile phone. So, so we have to do that. So keep adding new vocabulary. So if you get it right, it's fine. If you don't get a question right, then little guru will give us another option. So let's say in this, okay. So let's just select, it's obviously a wrong choice. So it gives us two choices, either to move to the next part or answer again. The idea is to make people keep learning. not necessarily, punish them for not getting it right. So, so this is another format. So as we keep going, you keep accumulating, certain points, and you get certain badges for that when you complete a chapter. So these are chapters, and every level you complete, you get your certificates. So I can show you a few more examples on level 3. Okay, so here we pick the right word, do the vibhakti. So let's pick the right word, right? I have a fill in the blank, another interesting format. So Shishunam Krite Annam Dadami. So let's just put it's wrong. So we get another try, right? So let's try another one. Right. So that's how we go about. So using all these different formats to teach different chapters and different subjects, this is what you can see the richness of the number of chapters that we've created in each format, and there's a multiples of different interesting questions, interesting gamified different different levels that we get. We have some very interesting obvious indeclinables we can talk about.
Shighram.
So you can drag and drop, right? So very interesting for people to see how the letters come together to form a word. Okay, so I think so this is enough. I think rest we will leave for everyone to get into the app and start getting into it and start learning. So moving back from the website back to our presentation. Let me see if my presentation screen is visible now. So we have now, having seen the app, our team said that we must definitely have one particular offer for the app, especially for people in Mexico, so that when we subscribe to the app, see, one of the initial levels is just free. Anybody can use that. And after that, there is a nominal cost to that. But for today, there is a very special offer for Mexico that people who subscribe today, special day of the launch and with everyone present. So there is a 70% off on the Little Guru subscription in Mexico. So which is a very, very special offer. And when we discussed with ICCR as well, we said, yes, let people enjoy this at a very nominal fee and experience the app. So we would love for all of you to use the QR code, definitely use it at initial levels and take a full-fledged subscription, and over your own time frame, learn Sanskrit. This special offer that our team has designed is for today. From tomorrow onwards, there'll be different offers, lesser offers, which will be there so that we can keep using it. But this is very, very special for today. So, okay, so also we have certain numbers here. Again, they'll be shared by my team in the chat that we can reach out to us for anything that we have to get in touch with. And so that concludes the first part of the presentation, Dr. Das. And now I'm very open to questions about the app, about learning in any space, any questions from all the participants.
Dr. Edward, you can take it ahead for the Q&A session.
Yes, thank you, Dr. Das, on behalf of the director of the Language Center, Edward Amador. I'm going to direct this Q&A session. So please, whoever who has a question, you can raise your hand or write it in the chat. Please don't be shy and feel free to address your question to Dr. Sharma. Okay, well, we have a question here in the chat. It says, Dr. Sharma, at the university, I'm learning English. I need to achieve a B1 level. I have heard, according to the Common European Framework, would the same framework be related to Sanskrit? Could you tell us, please, Dr. Sharma?
Okay, so I presume this question is directed at me. Yes, we have created a framework for Sanskrit according to the academia as well. So we have three different frameworks for Sanskrit. One is what we call Jagat Guru Vishwa Patha, which is basically learning the language. You know, it doesn't matter whether we are studying in a university or a school or anywhere, at any age we can learn the language. It's like Alliance Française, you know, where we learn the language, French. And that is our first Jagat Guru Vishwa Patha. The second one we've created in line with the IGCSE, right, which is for the schools worldwide, where they up to, you know, class 12, they have the learning Sanskrit curriculum. So we've created that so they can take the curriculum. And then after that, we have advanced levels, you know, which go for, you know, colleges and universities. So yes, I would say that broadly, the curriculum that we've created in the second stream, you know, matches with the international university curriculums. For very specific need, we will have to examine for our friend who's asked this question and be able to customize them for them. But yes, by using a curriculum which is acceptable to universities across the world, we have that curriculum for her.
Okay, thank you, Doctor. I think this next question has to do with this explanation. Dr. Anton, the Vice President for Internationalization here at the university, is asking if there is a global certification for this Sanskrit language to which we can have access to.
Absolutely, yes. I think certification is a just reward that anybody who wants to learn something, you know, deserves and asks for. So we definitely have provided certification. We provide after every chapter, you get a certain form of a badge, and after every level. And once you complete a course, we have the certification that you provide. We are now working with different universities across the world to get it accredited with various universities. So for example, in Mexico, you know, we would take it further with the university to see that the course, Little Guru course, is accredited. So we can get a joint certificate from Little Guru and the universities. Right now, we already have our certification, which will be provided. So, yes, that's a very good question.
Bueno, doctor Anton, en resumen, si entendí bien al doctor Sharma, en efecto tienen una certificación, cada que completan un nivel les proveen cierto como reconocimiento, como certificación de que acreditaron algún nivel, y obviamente cuando terminan todos los niveles que se deben completar, les dan un tipo de certificación, y están trabajando para que esa certificación sea reconocida en más universidades, tanto en México como en todo el mundo, pero sí, el Little Guru les proporciona ese tipo de certificación. Muchísimas gracias por sus preguntas. The next one is it too difficult to learn it? I think I had that in mind already because it sounds beautiful. It's a beautiful language, but yeah, like seeing it written and listen to it, yeah, it gives the idea that it is difficult. What can you tell us, Dr. Sharma, please?
Well, we have so many scholars here, you know, Sanskrit scholars who can answer this question so well, but I'll just briefly answer that. You know, as you said, Sanskrit is a very structured language. You know, you can create words because the syntax, as you call, is very, very structured. You know, that's why it's so used for programming as well. So once we get the structure right in our mind, it's not difficult. You know, it's, as you rightly said, that it's so beautiful to hear. It's so beautiful because it sort of uses your senses when you're listening to it as well. So once we get a sense of the words, you know, Sanskrit, you can actually learn by listening. When you get the sense of how you pronounce words, when you get a sense of how you use the letters, then, and you learn the basic syntax and logic, it's not difficult. You know, anything is difficult when you start. And when you have the right, you know, coaching, when you have the right app or the right teacher, you get a good start. But I can assure you that Sanskrit is not, what people call ancient language, which we can't understand. People have mastered it. I've seen people, some people have taken years and years and a lifetime to master it. Some people I've seen in few months, they have been able to speak Sanskrit well. So I think if we apply our minds to it, within 3 to 6 months, we can really speak it very well.
Ok, ya escucharon, más o menos de 3 a 6 meses. Si nos aplicamos, podemos aprenderlo. Okay, next question. It says, hello, I want to ask which development tools is Little Guru app made with?
Okay, that's a very nice IT question. My IT team would like to answer that, but I'll definitely explain it. So we have, from a user perspective, we have it on the web, we have it on Android, we have it on iOS. So all your devices can use it. Even the web version you have on a mobile version, so you can use it on your mobile, even if you don't download it. Though of course, if you download it, it's much better experience. But if you want to talk about technologies, we use PHP, Laravel, React.js, Java, SQL, all those latest technologies to use that. And we have been using some very special AI-based technology to get better user experience.
Okay, thank you very much. I'm sorry, that question was made by Rage Amber. Thank you for your question. Next one is by Veronica Espino. Is this app adapted to mobile learning? Do you use any design web responsive?
Absolutely, the answer is yes. This is the first need today. Today, everybody's on the mobile and we have to make it. In fact, first we used to design for web and then substitute for mobile. Now we design for mobile and then substitute for web. So it's very responsive on mobile and you love using it on the mobile.
Excellent. Next one by Jorge Hernandez. Could you please talk to us about your experience developing the app in terms of the interdisciplinary work carried out among the language experts and the technology experts?
I think that's a great question. I think before we even talk about the operations and the other work, I think the first thing here is the motivation. Right? Developing an app for a language which has not been, for example, used for a while is not that easy, I would say. But it's not difficult at all when you are motivated. So what is your motivation to develop an app? For me, personally, I always thought that, Sanskrit is a language which belongs to India, which belongs to the world. And why not, the new generation should learn about it. And when I looked at my kids, they didn't know Sanskrit or many Indian languages. That was one motivator. And secondly, I think, as Acharya ji said, that and Dr. Sharma said, it is, in a way, a mother of most of Indian languages. So I think it brings, and even Indo-European languages, so it brings people together. And then also self-discovery. I think Sanskrit, for me personally, it has been that, staying in the different models, working in Western world, sometimes you have to go within yourself to search for answers. And some of our Sanskrit language and all the traditions behind that, allow you that. So motivation, in my view, is the biggest reason. If you are motivated to create something, everything will fall in place. Of course, we had our design team, we had our UX team, we had our content team, and we had our operations team, we had the coding development team, everybody put together. And in a short period of time, people asked me, oh, where did you find the content people to do it? We said, we found them. People are willing to be associated with you when you have that on the right path. We found content creators, we got scholars, we obviously had very good designers already, and our technical team is very strong. And they all work together to bring it along. And I would say that these 5 or 6 disciplines, content, technology, product, UI, the design and the UX have to work together to create a great app. Very happy to help you. If somebody wants help, to reach out to our team for any other language, to help create, so we can help.
Thank you, Dr. Sharma. I'm sorry, maybe I got lost, but have you said how long it took to make this app?
It took us about 1 year to do it.
About a year. Okay. So are there any more questions? Please feel free to open your microphone and address your question. There were also comments, Dr. Sharma. Congratulations, comments for your app. And I can see that many of the people who is connected in this session have already downloaded have taken advantage of this great opportunity you have offered us. Thank you.
That's wonderful. So thank you for that. That really gladdens my heart. And I hope everybody finds it useful. And please feel free to give us feedback to improve it, because we are always constantly improving in every version. So I look forward to that.
Yes, of course. I think an app like this is like never completely over, never completely. Yeah. Okay. If there are no more questions, I would ask Dr. Yohendra Sharma to.
So I'll just have one final.
Okay. Yes, of course.
So thank you very much. As I see a lot of people who've done their doctorate around me, I must say that I'm yet to do it. Thank you for giving me the motivation to do that. Perhaps my doctorate would be in Sanskrit. I must say that both my parents were doctorates, like my father and my mother, both were teachers in that profession, and we went into the business side. But now, having been involved with Sanskrit, I'm very motivated to do my doctorate in Sanskrit next. So having said that, and mucho gracias por su atención. Adios. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Doctor. Okay, so I'll pass the floor to Dr. Yohendra Sharma.
Mireya Ocadiz, thank you so much. Muchísimas gracias for anchoring this part of the show. We enjoyed it. I think so Yogendra Sharma would come in after Dr. Wendy Phillips. Is that okay?
Okay, no problem. So I'll pass the floor to Dr. Wendy Phillips, professor at the UNAM, please.
Hi, everyone. So happy to be here. Namaskar, Your Excellency, Dr. Pankaj Sharma, Maestro Adolfo Pontigo Loyola, Rector de la Universidad de Hidalgo, and all distinguished guests and friends. Well, I have the distinct pleasure of sharing with you my experience as a Sanskrit learner. I just had a little friend of little guru here, and he's my 5 years old child, and he has been playing with the little guru since a few months ago, when Dr. Anuji Sharma was so kind as to show us the application. So well, I have a couple of minutes just to share with you my experience learning Sanskrit as a Mexican person, as a Spanish speaker. So let me share my screen with you. So here we are. These are 10 reasons to learn Sanskrit, and actually are my 10 reasons to learn Sanskrit. So I talk from a personal perspective. Okay, this we can skip because we know learning any language is good for you. Okay, we start with the interesting things. Sanskrit is perhaps the world's oldest language that still has a spoken tradition. So it is very interesting to know, when one is learning Sanskrit, that it has a very ancient past, but it's still useful to talk to people or to read texts. So often we focus on modern languages that are spoken all around, but whose history is not as large as the Sanskrit history. Or sometimes we want to learn ancient languages, but they are not spoken anymore. So Sanskrit is both. You will get a sense of how ancient Indo-European languages work. Indo-European languages are probably the largest family of languages. I can tell that, for instance, Spanish is an Indo-European language. So Sanskrit would be a relative of Spanish in a very, very, very long distance relationship, but still it's a language that it's in the group of Indo-European families. It can open the door to learn about many aspects of Indian culture, and I think that has been very much emphasized today, that if we are interested in literature, in spirituality, in politics even, in arts, in Indian culture in general, well, Sanskrit is a wonderful tool to have a key to get into the Indian culture. Sanskrit is an entryway to many Indian languages, and I mean many modern Indian languages, languages that are spoken in the streets right now. So by learning Sanskrit, one gets a bunch of knowledge that can become very practical if one wants to learn other languages such as Bengali, Marathi, Hindi. So it's a good investment. Also, if we are thinking only in practical terms. Well, also about scripts, we have mentioned a few words. You'll get to learn Devanagari, which is a very useful script. Devanagari is used not only for Sanskrit, but for many other Indian languages. One of them, I would say Hindi, which is quite widespread, and some others also. So if you learn Devanagari, you will get to read many things like the names of the streets, the metro stations, the names of people. So it's a very useful tool just by learning the scripts, which is in the very first level of the little Guru app, by the way. That's why my little kid is actually learning now, relating the script with the sounds. This is good for the musicians or anyone interested in sound and the important things that come through our ears, because you will have to develop your sense of ear, because Sanskrit is a very accurate language in terms of how it sounds. So for instance, one is impressed to learn at the beginning that we have one N in Spanish. Tenemos un sonido para la N en español, pero por ejemplo el sánscrito distingue entre la N de manzana y la N de mango. Y si ustedes se ponen a fijar, digan mango y ven que la N está diferente. Y si dicen manzana, también es un sonido ligeramente distinto. Entonces, en sánscrito ellos son muy particulares en distinguir esos pequeños cambios de sonido. Y eso hace que el oído pues se vaya educando de distintas maneras. Well, your memory skills will have to improve. Actually, that is great. Every time I fear I'll get Alzheimer, I say to myself, okay, no, do a little bit of Sanskrit. That is really good. You have to learn a lot of things. You have to memorize, and that's going to help you. So memory, we may not be told that so often, but memory is a great tool for learning. Often we are told, oh, no, don't memorize these things because you can find that information somewhere else. But actually, memory is like having the knowledge inside, so you can use it immediately. So it's a great tool to develop memory skills. It's a great tool to practice structured thinking. And that's a very useful thing now that we live in a very structured world, and we are used to many stimulations, screens and information, and a lot of chaotic things that just happen here and there without a proper structure. So learning Sanskrit is like a good tool to try to put things together in an understandable way. And that's actually like a good thing for our thinking, but also for the way it makes you feel. When you are working with something that is structured, you feel peace. You may have tried that in different occasions. So having structured things, it's actually something that makes you feel good. And this is something very curious. As a Spanish speaker, you will meet another language with phonemic orthography. What is that? En español, pues leemos lo que tenemos enfrente. Si dice ortografía, leemos ortografía. Si dice español, leemos español. A veces cuando estamos aprendiendo otra lengua, pues nos encontramos con que en el inglés se escribe de una forma y se pronuncia de otra. Quizá en el francés aún más, se escribe de una manera y la pronunciación decimos, bueno, eso es impredecible, se escribe así, pero quién sabe cómo se pronuncia. En sánscrito tenemos la ventaja como español o como hablantes de español, que lo que leemos es lo que pronunciamos. Entonces, esa es una característica que compartimos y que nos ayuda un poco, nos da un extra, un plus a nosotros que somos hablantes de la lengua española. Y bueno, pues esta es mi rapidísima presentación, pero quería yo contarles todas estas razones y pues agradecer por la oportunidad de estar aquí y sobre todo por la oportunidad de tener ahora la aplicación Sanskrit Guru. Ojalá cuando yo era estudiante hubiera existido algo así. Muchas gracias.
Oh my God, Dr. Wendy, it was a very quick but very deep and thorough explanation. Thank you very much. Of course, learning languages help us to have structure in our minds, to have discipline, to exercise our memory. And a very important point you said, it is an advantage to learn a language that's similar to ours in some ways. Like, as you said, to read it as it is written, it is an advantage, and different from French, for example, or English, as you said. So I think that's a very good reason to study Sanskrit, among many others. Yeah, so thank you very much, Dr. Wendy. So I think I will pass the floor to Dr. Yohendra Sharma. Yes?
He is not yet. I think so. We will proceed with my
Okay.
Madhur. Yeah, thank you.
Okay, but Dr. Yohendra is not going to enter the meeting soon?
If he enters before we complete, he would. Otherwise, he just left for a few minutes.
Okay.
We go ahead.
Okay, well, yeah. So no, well, actually, on behalf of the director of the Language Center, he just wanted to thank you all for being here, Mr. Ambassador of India to Mexico, Dr. Pankaj Sharma, of course, Dr. Srimati Das, director of the Gurudev Tagore Cultural Center. Thank you to all the chancellors, the presidents of the universities in India and Mexico. Thank you, teachers and students of Sanskrit and of the UAEH. I think this was a very exciting presentation. You are right. I think we already started to love Sanskrit. If you haven't downloaded during this session, do it immediately after, because I think it is a very good way to learn a new language. So thank you very much. If there is no other additional message, Dr. Das, you tell me. We can end the session.
Maria, it was wonderful. I think so. Dr. Yogendra Sharma may not join us. So
okay.
If I would like to ask my ambassador, Dr. Pankaj Sharma. Sir, we go ahead and would you like to give a small message at the end, sir?
Dr. Dats, thank you very much. And all that remains for me is to thank the university and all the distinguished scholars who joined us today. And I would like to convey my best wishes to all the potential students. And I hope that they learn the way Dr. Anuj Sharma explained to us. And as Acharya ji had said, and as also was said by the Vice Chancellor, Dr. Pathak, that Sanskrit is a way of life. And I hope that we can imbibe all the great values and traditions that Sanskrit brings to us. I thank you all.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, Dr. Sharma, so much.
Thank you so much. And I would like to also thank the Rector, Adolfo Pontiago Loyola, for being with us today. And of course, to the Ambassador of India. And yes, Maria, you can take it ahead and you can close the event.
Yes, of course. Thank you very much for your message, Mr. Ambassador. Dr. Das, as always, thank you, Mr. Ambassador, and all the teachers of Sanskrit and chancellors, Dr. Das. Thank you, Dr. Anton Maestro Cravioto, for being here. This is your home. This is the home of India. So please feel welcome every time you like. Thank you. Thank you for this presentation. Have an excellent day.
Namaskar.
Muchas gracias. Namo nama.
Namaste.
Namaste.
Thank you. Goodbye.